Hi, welcome to the new episode of Beyond the Numbers podcast. I'm Jen, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at DNV Philippines. For this episode, we have Dan and Nadine joining us to help us understand how we can improve and maintain the quality of the outsourced services we provide through quality management system. Hi, Dan. Hi, Nadine.
Hello,
Hi,
Jess.
Jen.
Good to be
Yes,
here.
good to be here.
Our pleasure to have you, and thank you for joining us today. So, Dan is the head of Quality Assurance Department, and Nadine is our Quality Assurance Manager. So, together, they will share what they did to strengthen and implement our quality management system. Let's start with the most basic yet necessary information our viewers need to know, especially those who are still looking for an outsourcing service provider. So, what is QMS and why it is important in outsourcing arrangement?
So a quality management system, or QMS, is basically a framework that guides an organization on how they can deliver a consistent high-quality service that meets their client requirements and compliance or regulatory and statutory requirements. So the QMS guides the business operation through the establishment of policies, procedures, improvement programs, and business continuity protocols. So as a professional services company like DNB Philippines, providing finance and accounting outsourcing services, our QMS guides us to ensure that we deliver or we perform our services that meets our client requirements. So through our QMS, DNB Philippines follows defined processes in conducting our business, from recruitment, onboarding, account management, and employee management, performance monitoring, evaluations, and contingency planning in case of service delivery disruptions.
Yes, and having these structured workflows allows us to function effectively as our client's back office, and a lot of operational work happens behind the scenes. So having a QMS in place, our clients can focus on their core businesses. So from a client's perspective, working or partnering with a service provider with an established QMS makes a huge difference because they can have this confidence that the resources are well planned, people are being carefully selected, performance is monitored, and they have the system in place to manage disruptions or issues in case that actually happens. So overall, a QMS is a reflection that an organization has built the system needed in order to deliver consistent service while protecting both its operations and clients.
That's a great point, actually, Dan and Nadine. So, at the end of the day, outsourcing means trusting your another team or another provider to handle critical parts or critical task for your business. So, but I noted earlier that you mentioned multiple times the importance of following the QMS. So, what do you mean by that? Are there any instances that a service provider, for example, boasts their certification, or having a QMS certification and not following the processes?
Yes, actually, it does happen most of the time. Some organization would say that they have a quality management system, but it's not really part of how they manage their work. So one common pitfall that I have observed or based on my experience is when the QMS is maintained only just because for compliance or documentation needed for external audits. So the company may have documented policies and procedures, but they're not actually following it or integrating it into their day-to-day operation. So when that happens, the system becomes more about compliance requirement rather than something that actually improves how they manage their work. And another challenge maybe is lack of leadership or management support, because management has to actively support the QMS to become effective, for it to be effective, and they are needed not only to approve policies, review policies, procedures, but to also reinforce the standard that, okay, you have to follow this. We have to work based on our system, based on our internal policies, and to also make quality part of everyday decision making. And lastly, maybe is some organizations treat quality as the responsibility of just one department. Usually the QA team, it's us, right? Yes, or the quality management representative in some cases. But in reality, it should be a shared responsibility across of the entire organization. So for every team, like operations to human
Yes.
resources, down to the support groups like us, sales and marketing,
Yes.
communications department, even QA, IT, finance. We play a role in maintaining the standard and improving our own processes. So when we say a company should follow a QMS well,
Yep.
it should be documented not only for compliance, but we should follow it religiously.
Yes. Did we experience the same challenge here at DNV Philippines? How did we what would be the actions taken?
Yes, because at first, implementing QMS is actually implementing changes. And
Yes.
when there are changes, there are resistance from our employees. So what we did is to be really, to really support the departments in this transition period, right?
So we have open consultations and open communications with the different departments because it's important that we are able to get their feedback from
Yes.
from their perspectives who
Right.
are following their implementing their own process and procedures, and then coming to an agreement of what's the best process or procedures that we can implement for the organization. So it's important to hear the feedback of the other departments.
Correct.
Yes.
So this is also a good reminder for all of the other outsourcing company or company out there who's trying to look for a partner or an outsourcing partner, because it's not they should not take the ISO certification or any certification for that matter at its face value. They should do a proper due diligence, ensuring that these companies are following what they have written in their documentation.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. So companies should look beyond the ISO certification badge and do proper due diligence. So speaking of due diligence, so we actually talked about it during the pilot episode with Attorney Jose and Attorney Becky. So for our viewers out there, you can still watch that episode here. We also added the link to the description below. But going back, so the proper due diligence. So how, for example, a client can check that the company is following its processes, what's written in the document or the process manuals.
For us here in DNV Philippines, we actually invite our clients to visit our office, or if they cannot visit the office, we invite them for a quick chat or for quick discussion so they can really check or interview us how we did how we implement our quality management
So
system.
it's not only the quality assurance. I think they also have a chance to interview or talk with the operations and other departments.
Yes, correct.
Yes. So some of our clients submits a due diligence questionnaire, and from there the clients can also arrange a meeting with the different departments in the company, with IT, legal, finance, and how they support or operate
Yes.
in the business. And they can also request some key KPIs, for example,
Yeah.
on the results of our client satisfaction survey.
Yes.
It's a good information for the potential
And
client
what's
to
the
have.
result of our
For 2025,
ACSS?
we got 97%
Wow.
annual client satisfaction score. Yes.
Yes, and we have been exceeding expectations for the past 2
Yes.
years already. In 2024 and 2025, our performance rating is more than 4 or exceeds expectation.
and now we're planning to have one this
Yes, for
quarter, right?
2026. Yes.
So now going back to be transparent with our viewers. So here at DNV Philippines, we started our journey with our QMS certification, and it took us like 3 years. So what are the challenges that we experienced during that process?
Yes, we experienced a lot of challenges in our journey in establishing our QMS and getting our ISO QMS certification. So first is that because we started this journey from scratch,
Yeah.
so we did it on our own and we didn't engage any consultants.
Yes.
So it was really a long and difficult process. However, due to the thanks to the support of our leadership team, the management, and all of the stakeholders from the different departments, and their commitment, and also through the leadership of our quality assurance department, quality assurance team here, who guided us and support in the entire process, we were able to achieve our certification. So another challenge that I can think of is the implementing standardization across of the processes, because people need time to adapt, and change can sometimes lead to resistance because people are just not used to doing new things, doing new ways
Of
Yeah.
working, yes.
of working. Yes, and another challenge is in the prioritization because implementing, establishing, and maintaining the QMS requires a lot of activities and initiatives. So it involves a lot of documentation, performing of internal quality audits, performance evaluation, strategic planning. So another challenge that we encountered is in the standardization of processes across the organization, because whenever we implement new systems or processes or improve new ones, so people tend to resist change, and they need time to adapt.
Yes, that's what Nadine mentioned earlier about the resistance.
Because I think they just need time to adapt and,
And
adjust to the new ways of working. Yes. So another challenge in implementing, establishing the QMS is in the prioritization, because QMS requires a lot of initiatives and activities, the documentation or updates and documentation, internal audits, which needs to be participated by all of the stakeholders or departments, process improvement initiatives, and risk management. So for us in QA, we need to be able to consider the timeline and capacity of all of the stakeholders, so that is aligned with their own projects and activities, so we can get the most impact out of these initiatives and activities.
Yes, and this is not only QA department who's doing the initiative. It's a company-wide effort. So, but how many team you have in the quality assurance department?
We are actually a team of 5, and we are now divided into different units just to really support and implement the QMS properly.
And I heard that you're hired because to start the QMS process.
Back in 2023, so we hired Nadine specifically for the preparation for the QMS.
Longer, yes, that's right.
So aside from hiring Nadine, so what are the other actions taken by the leadership or the management to support the QMS process?
I think one thing that really helped us is the support that we received from our vice president, from the management. So, like what we said earlier, when leaders actively support quality initiatives, it becomes easier for us, right, to implement changes, to implement improvements across the organization. And one of our strongest champions actually is our own president and CEO, Stefan. I remember during our QMS certification efforts, he was always there, encouraging the team members to follow the new standards.
Every town hall.
Yes, every town hall, even every
message from the CEO.
Yes.
Part of the
Even
message, it's always
casual
included.
conversations with the leaders, with the employees. And he was always asking us what support needed from him in order to strengthen or support these initiatives. And that really helped us transform or helped us reinforce the meaning and importance of quality across the entire organization. So with that, we gradually embed the QMS into our daily or day-to-day operations. So eventually it becomes less about compliance and more about building the right system, policies, processes in order to for us in order to deliver consistent and reliable services to our clients.
Okay. So, thank you for sharing that. So, it's great to hear that how leadership supports or play a big part in supporting this system. So from your own perspective as QA experts, how do you ensure strong organizational compliance with QMS?
So QA ensures strong organizational compliance to QMS by facilitating the activities required by the standards of ISO 9001:2015 Quality Management System.
Right.
So that includes strategic planning, internal audits, performance of risk management, performance evaluation and monitoring, and also business continuity improvement.
Yes.
And so with that, for the strategic planning, one important practice is aligning our quality with strategic planning. So we ensure that quality objectives are integrated in our strategic planning, so that the quality supports the achievement of our long-term goals and objectives. For internal audit, we perform an annual internal quality audit of all the functions of the organizations to ensure that our quality management systems performs accordingly and are being followed by the organization. And it also gives us an opportunity to identify any areas for improvements.
Yes.
For enterprise risk management, we identify potential risks that will hinder us from performing for providing quality services to our clients,
Yes.
and also performing business processes in the organizations like the people, systems, process and procedures. And most importantly, we are also identifying risks in our ability to achieve our strategic plans and objectives.
Correct.
These are very important because by identifying this early, we are able to put in place internal controls and mitigation plans
Right.
to ensure that we operate effectively and achieve our goals and objectives. One thing that I also mentioned is the performance feedback. So we have strong performance feedback mechanism
Yes.
for our clients and employees. For
Yes.
employees, we have the annual performance evaluation, and for our clients, we have performance feedback in all phases of the engagement. So we have initial assessment survey for the onboarding of the client. We also have annual client satisfaction survey in the live engagement, and client disengagement survey for offboarding clients. So these surveys or performance evaluation program are very important to give us insights on how we are performing and how we can improve our services.
Yes.
Yep. And on top of that, we also have business continuity protocols. So QA ensures that we follow or implement our business continuity the BCP.
Especially during the typhoon season.
Yes, so because we all know that Philippines is in the Southeast Asia, and we experience a lot of typhoons. So through the BCP program, we ensure that we are able to continue providing our service delivery despite some service delivery disruptions.
Yeah, and in addition to quality management, many organizations are actually looking into strengthening their information security practices, especially these days, where
that's right.
protecting sensitive or confidential data of stakeholders is very important. So, for example, for DNV Philippines, we are now actively pursuing ISO 27001 certification, or the Information Security Management System, which can help us ensure that sensitive client information is protected through our strong security protocols, risk management, and even governance practices. So for other companies within the same industries like DNV Philippines, like professional service firms, where we handle a lot of sensitive or confidential data, it's a good complement to quality management system, because QMS is already the foundation or the basic standard that an organization can implement. So transitioning to ISO 27001 would become easier.
Yeah, that's right. So those are really great insights. And it's clear that a strong quality management system goes beyond having like procedures. So it's more on really building systems that help improve the organizations operate consistently and to improve over time. So before we wrap things up, maybe both of you can provide or give us like a key takeaway. So what would be your key takeaways for the organizations that are looking or planning to implement QMS, or organizations that are evaluating a company or providers that claim to have one?
So my key takeaway is for the organizations who are looking for a sourcing partners, that they should look beyond the certifications, ISO certification or any other certifications. So they should perform proper due diligence to ensure that those, let's say, documentations or process procedures that they've written, that they are really following what they've written. And also, a QMS should not just be treated as a compliance requirements, because its value comes from the practice or embedding these process procedures, controls, and risk management in the day-to-day operations of the organization.
Yes. And another thing, maybe we have emphasized this already throughout the podcast. Another important point for us or for others to consider is quality shouldn't be seen as the responsibility of just one team. It's not just the responsibility of QA or quality management representative. While we guide the system, but maintaining quality really requires support from leadership and active participation from everyone across the organization.
And ultimately, a well-implemented QMS gives clients confidence that service provider has clear processes, proper controls, and a commitment to continuous improvement. So those are the kinds of systems that help ensure consistent service delivery and long-term reliability.
You're right. So, thanks for that. And I think that's a great way to wrap things up. So, QMS is not just about certifications or passing audits. So, it's about consistency, accountability, and protecting trust clients place in you or in us, Rudy and me. So, to our viewers, if this episode helped you better understand what to look for in an outsourcing partner, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Beyond the Numbers podcast. Thank you, Dan and Nadine, for sharing.
Thank you for
Thank
inviting
you. It's our
us.
pleasure
For
to be
quality and a practice every day. And thank you, everyone. See you in the next episode.
See you.